Hey y'all, happy Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, August 5th. And I come to you guys with a very quick word that is a warning to some of God's people. So the message is, when God calls you forth, when God says that you are ready, do not dismiss and send his blessing back to him because you feel like you're not ready. When God is calling you forth, when God is about to give you a gift of something, when he is about to bless you with something, do not allow things like imposter syndrome or low self-esteem or just feeling like you're not prepared cause you to push that blessing away, cause you to dismiss that very blessing that you want. Don't give the gift back to God. He finally feels like you are ready for it. Do not give it back. So this stems from a dream. So last night I had a whole bunch of different dreams, but this dream stood out to me. I was at this table with this white woman who I feel like was a manager or a director of some point. I pretty much was there for a job interview, and the lady was interviewing me, and it was me. It was the lady right here. She was sitting it seemed like we was in a kitchen, and it was a brown table in front of her separating me and her, and she had the kitchen light was behind her. And it was me in one chair, and it was my sister in another chair. And so the lady was talking to us. She had a folder in front of her. So it was like she was interviewing us, and she had a folder in front of her. And then she ended up saying, "Oh yeah, I just had my baby. Do y'all want to see her? She's right here." And she had a newborn baby in a car seat. And so she was like, "Do you want to hold her?" And I was like, "No, I got baby fever already." And so my sister then said, "Well, I'll hold her." And so the lady pulled this beautiful, beautiful baby girl out of a car seat. And she was a brand new baby. She was a newborn. She couldn't have been, I think the lady said she had her last week or something like that. Because I was thinking in my head, why are you back at work if you just had this baby? But I think the woman had just had the baby. And she passed. I remember seeing the lady pass the baby over me. She didn't go sit in her seat and reach over to my sister. She passed the baby over me and gave the baby to my sister. My sister laid the baby on her chest, and she was like, "Thank you for letting me hold her." And then she tried to sit the baby up, and the baby started moving around all crazy. She was trying to get down. And that was the end of that dream. And so when I asked God, what did that dream mean? Because I was like, "God, I feel like I know what you're saying, but I need you to give me a verse about this." God led me to Ruth chapter 4. Do y'all remember what happened in Ruth chapter 4? If you remember, in Ruth chapter 3 is when Naomi gave Ruth advice to go and approach Boaz and tell him, "Hey, you are our next kinsman redeemer." Naomi was like, "I'm trying to find you a permanent home." Ruth meets Boaz in the threshing floor. She presents herself to him like, "This is what we need. You're my family redeemer." Boaz says, "You are a virtuous woman, even more virtuous than before. And I am a redeemer, but you do have one closer kin that is supposed to, redeem you first. And if they don't redeem you, then I will redeem you." And so we leave that passage off where Boaz is saying, "I'm going to go talk to him." So in Ruth chapter 4, Boaz goes to the town gate, and he waits for the kinsman redeemer. And so I'm going to read it to you. Starting at verse 1, Boaz went to the town gate and took a seat there. Just then the family redeemer he had mentioned came by, so Boaz called out to him, "Come over here and sit down, friend. I want to talk to you." So they sat down together. Then Boaz called 10 leaders from the town and asked them to sit as witnesses. And Boaz said to the family redeemer, "You know Naomi, who came back from Moab. She is selling the land that belongs to our relative Elimelech. I thought I should speak to you about it, so that you can redeem it if you wish. If you want the land, then buy it right here in the presence of these witnesses. And if you don't want it, let me know right away, because I am next in line to redeem it after you." The man replied, "All right, I'll redeem it." Then Boaz told him, "Of course, your purchase of the land from Naomi also requires that you marry Ruth, the Moabite widow. That way she can have children who will carry on her husband's name and keep the land in the family." "Then I can't redeem it," the family redeemer replied, "because this might endanger my own estate. You redeem the land, I cannot do it." Now in those days, it was the custom in Israel for anyone transferring a right of purchase to remove his sandal and hand it to the other party. This publicly validated the transaction. So the other family redeemer drew off his sandal as he said to Boaz, "You buy the land." Then Boaz said to the elders and to the crowd standing around, "You are witnesses that today I have bought Naomi all the property. I have bought from Naomi all the property of Elimelech, Kilion, and Mahlon. And with the land I have acquired Ruth, the Moabite widow of Mahlon, to be my wife. This way she can have a son to carry on the family name of her dead husband and to inherit the family property here in his hometown. You are all witnesses today." Then the elders and all the people standing in the gate replied, "We are witnesses. May the Lord make this woman who was coming into your home like Rachel and Leah, from whom all the nation of Israel descended. May you prosper in Ephrathah and be famous in Bethlehem. And may the Lord give you descendants by this young woman who will be like those of our ancestor Perez, the son of Tamar in Judah." So Boaz took Ruth into his home, and she became his wife. And when he slept with her, the Lord enabled her to become pregnant, and she gave birth to a son. And so I'm going to stop there. But does that not tell you all what God is saying? God is saying, don't be quick to give the gift back to him because you feel like you're unprepared. Y'all, there is something that I have wanted for a really, really long time, and I feel like I could be in position to receive it now. But I've been saying, God, if I do that right now, like right now would not be a good time for me to do that, because I feel like I have XYZ lined up. And if I do that, that is going to put a wrench in things. That is going to stop the productivity of what I have going on. Like, I just don't think that right now would be a great time for me to inherit that thing. When I got that dream last night, God, give me the thing. Give me the thing. I would dismiss my plans. I would throw all my plans in trash. Give me the thing. Give me the gift. Like, I don't want to miss my blessing. I don't want to miss what God has for me because I feel like I'm not ready. And the crazy thing about it is, I said I have baby fever. If you don't know what baby fever is when you have that really, really strong desire to have a baby. When you have a really strong, if you ever heard somebody post something on social media or say something in real life about they have baby fever, they are saying they really want the presence of a baby. They really have a strong urge to have the presence of a baby around them. That was a baby. And this lady who was interviewing me for a job said, "Hey, do you want to hold her?" She was excited about letting somebody hold the baby. "Do you want to hold her?" And I was like, "No, I already have baby fever." Girl, you want a baby. Why are you trying to give it back? You want the baby. Why don't you want to experience it? And like I said, in Waking Life, I have something that I have cried to God about. I have cried to him about it. And I have wanted it for a really long time. And he may be saying that this is the opportune time for me. But in my plan, I have so many things lined up. I'm like, this just would not be a great time for me to take on that assignment. This would not be a great time for me to take on that kind of blessing because of the magnitude of what it is. And am I really willing to let it pass by me just because I feel like I'm not ready? Because one thing about it, we always say God doesn't call the equipped. God equips the called. So what that means is you don't have to have everything together because by your standards, by what you think. If God calls you to a certain thing, if God calls you to an assignment, you will have everything that you need. God will supply all your needs. God will supply provision. God will supply knowledge. God will supply wisdom. God will supply resources. God will supply partnerships. You don't need God. You don't need to have all of that lined up. God will provide that for you. He just needs your yes. He just needs to know that you're not going to throw this blessing away. He needs to know that you are going to properly receive and welcome it. Whatever the blessing is, it could be a child. It could be a physical child, or it could be a promise. It can be the promise of marriage. It can be the promise of a business opportunity. It can be the promise of a new house or a new car. It can be the promise of a new job. It can be the promise of anything, but are you going to give it back to God? Do not give the gift back to God. That is what I'm going to title this. Do not give the gift back to God. That is a warning. That is a warning. And now, y'all, I got to go repent because I need to tell him I'm sorry. I need to tell him I will receive that gift. I will not talk down on it again. I will receive that gift. What is this on my glasses? I don't know what that is. So now I got to go repent, and now I got to go see if God going to let me have the blessing. If he going to let me have it now. If I give him my yes now, will he give it to me? God, and listen, y'all got to be careful with that, because God doesn't allow redos all the time. Heck, just because I'm saying yes now, don't mean he will. He might not. I might have to wait. I might have to wait for another season to come back around. God doesn't always allow you. Sometimes he sends these things right here, these messages, as a warning. Sometimes he sends them as judgment, like you've already missed your opportunity. I will bring another one around. But sometimes when it's a warning, he's saying, stop in your tracks. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're saying to speak against what God is about to bless you, stop it right now, today. Repent right now, today. Don't dismiss it. So that is the message for today, you guys. I love y'all, and I will see y'all on my next one.